Hi there. So this is my first time trying this out, so we'll see how this goes. I know a lot of you couldn't make it to my recent readings from my new collection, Unfinished Business, which you can't see at all in here. But I'm going to read a little bit from my story, A Splash of Crimson, so you can get an idea of what it's like to come to some of my live readings. Blood red in the gaslight, a butchered beast. Her dress catches my eye before she fades back into shadow, like smoke from an ill-stoked hearth. When I force myself to look at the spot where she stood a heartbeat before, there is nothing but smoke and shadow and the sense that I am being watched. I close my eyes and turn away, resisting. I will myself to see nothing, to feel nothing. No one will give a mad governess a post. No one will give a mad governess a post. No one. The thought trails round and round in my head until I clap my hands over my ears to try and shut it out. I can almost hear her laughing at me from the shadows. And I run back down the stairs to Miss Violet's room, seeking refuge. But I catch myself at the door, my hand poised to knock. Miss Violet is a young lady now, ready to be launched into society. She has no real need of governesses. And I am now assuming the less visible, less authoritative role of chaperone and lady's companion with each fortnight that passes. My dismissal cannot be far behind. I must not hasten that day, must not let doubts arise as to my fitness for duty. Sir Charles says that he has already given my references to several good families of his acquaintance. He must not doubt me. She must not question me. No one will give a mad governess a post. I flee for the stairs and the scant safety of my small room. A poker in the barely smoldering fire, the gas turned up, and the shadows are banished. She cannot come to me now, and my heart stills, comforted by that hope. It was not always so with us. When she was alive, she was my mistress, almost, but never quite, my friend. Now she was, I close my eyes. I drink my cold tea. I shall forget her. I shall look away when I see that flash of crimson that tells me that she is near, that she is watching. I shall use my Sunday leave to go to church, and there will never again be any seance that includes me as an attendee. Perhaps I will ask the vicar what he thinks of spirits that linger on after death. Perhaps he has a way to banish them. Or else, he will think me mad, overexcited, prone to hysteria. So there must be no vicar, not here, not one who knew her when this house was hers. No one must ever know that I have seen her. No one else sees her, only me. I will insist that she stop appearing to me. I was nothing to her in life, and she was nothing to me, nothing that I can speak of now. I will banish her with the force of my will once I summon it to do so. If I were a papist, I might confess, might find absolution in their rites. One of their priests might be persuaded to come to the house while the family is out and put her spirit to rest. But what then of the servants? One can never forget the servants, those watching eyes and listening ears, such tales they would bear to Sir Charles. And what then of my references? I fall asleep in my chair as I watch the fire die and the room grow dim. She walks through my dreams, but I remember nothing except a flash of red in her face when I start awake at the distant sound of a jangling bell. Yawning maids are tumbling from their rooms to roam the house with the dawn and scrape the grates, start the fires, and fetch the tea. Today, I resolve that I will join them. I will be done with the past. I will gather myself together, determined to be as I was before. To deny her that last bit of self that she seems to want to possess. My dress is changed, and my face is washed. All trace of night terrors wiped away when I present myself at the schoolroom for Miss Violet's final series of lessons in deportment. By then, I have drunk my tea and eaten my crust, and my hair is in place. I catch a glimpse of myself in the hall mirror as I enter the room, noting with approval the simple tidiness of my dress. I carefully avoid meeting my own eyes, knowing they must be wild and red from broken sleep. Miss Violet is a younger version of her mother, beautiful but light and mockingly cruel one moment, deceptively sweet and manipulative the next. I wonder if I might not be in a better light if I asked Sir Charles to dismiss me now, to set me free from this house of dust and shadows and half-glimpsed crimson gowns. But then I know he will never agree, not until her daughter is safely affianced. There are so many dangers that can beset a young lady's reputation. I must endure and linger, abiding by my fate. The realization that I will see my former mistress again makes me tremble, makes my heart race. But I conceal my agitation from Miss Violet. She might use it against me, coaxing favors and sweets as she did when she was younger and saw my weaknesses. Looking at her now, I can see only that she will become her mother one day, perhaps destined to haunt her children's governess in a crimson gown. But I must not say haunt. It is not a proper word for children, especially well-bred children. What if Miss Violet were to hear me say it and were to repeat it when in company? She might be mocked. My former mistress merely lingers in my imagination. She does not haunt me. I do not see her on the stairs. I do not see her in my room at night. I do not. Miss Violet's voice cuts through my thoughts. She wants to take the carriage and go visiting. I plead the headache, but am obliged to attend her when she disregards my feeble words. I yield to her wishes, as always, and change my dress. And then I fade into the wallpaper of each drawing room we visit, becoming more like a shadow myself with each passing hour. Miss Violet ignores me, all smiles and extravagant gestures, while I perch on uncomfortable side chairs and listen to an endless flood of chatter about balls and dances and picnics. Miss Violet is at the end of her mourning for her mother, and all these delights are now once more open to her. I wonder if I shall ever be permitted to end my mourning for her ladyship, or if she will come with me wherever I go, dogging my steps in her crimson gown. Resentment boils through me that her daughter can leave her behind so easily, but I am seemingly doomed to keep her by me forever. But then, a very young lady tugs at my skirt, interrupts my thoughts with offers of tea and secrets, and I forget Miss Violet and her mother in my charmed enthusiasm, at least for a time. In the next drawing room, a lady's companion sits near me and we engage in commonplace conversation. In the house after that, I converse with the governess. Biscuits, tea, gossip, the weather. It is all so very ordinary that I know that I must have imagined these last few fortnights. I have simply allowed my fancies to run wild, like another governess's charges. I know that there will be no shadowy red figure waiting for me when we return because I have dismissed her from my mind. I am once more in command of myself. That was all that was required. Miss Violet notes as much as we enter the carriage to return home. You seem quite over your headache, Hill. You look much more the thing now. She smiles pleasantly at me, and I thank her for her trouble, and soon we are home and under the eagle eye of her father. Sir Charles seems pleased as well, however, and there are guests and supper and tea to be got through. The guests have brought a handsome young man with them, and Miss Violet is immensely diverted, and I am happy to be distracted. When at last I tumble into exhausted slumber, I do not light a candle or turn up the gas in my room. I do not dread, I do not dream, because I have nothing to fear. Yet, when I awake some hours later, I know that I am not alone. I can see nothing. Something cold touches my cheek, and I bite back a scream. Something whispers to me, I do not know what you have to say to me. Are you entrusting Miss Violet to my care? Are you begging me to conceal some past indiscretion of yours from Sir Charles? Or have you come with some message concerning my own fate, my own past indiscretions of thought, if not deed? These are my thoughts after she is gone, after I twist away from her touch and light a candle with trembling fingers. Perhaps she said nothing and merely came to disturb my slumber. In any case, I cannot recall anything with certainty. Not once I am able to stop gasping from swallowing my screams. No one will give a governess with nightmares a post. Though of that last I wonder a bit. Perhaps my drawing-room companions have nightmares of their own, things too terrible to speak of over tea and biscuits. When my terrors abate a bit and the room is bright with gaslight, I allow myself to contemplate all of the things that my mistress might have returned or lingered to say to me. None of them seem sufficient to explain why she would come to me rather than her husband or her daughter. I wish she would not. And yet, some part of me is flattered, drawn to the notion that someone sees me at all, let alone defies death itself to haunt me. You see, I am dispensing with any attempts at displaying good breeding, even as an example to the children. I rise and contemplate my reflection in the tiny mirror that she gave me as a gift when Miss Violet was still a girl. And a face not my own meets my gaze. I stagger away, trying to close my eyes, but to no avail. I am looking at her as she was before she left me. Her eyes meet mine, and I fall into their dark abyss, waking only to the sound of breaking glass and a swath of red on the white wall next to my bed. I imagine that I am still dreaming, still abed. Then I realize a maid is kneeling next to me and calling for assistance. The room, the mirror, the maid, and the red blood all turn to gray and then disappear. And I'll stop there. Thank you so much for listening. Unfinished Business is available from Queen of Swords Press and Dreamhaven Books and all other outlets for print and ebooks, and I hope you'll check it out. Thank you.